We're half a lap away from the green flag. Carl Edwards has led every lap. That's likely about to change. But for Carl, Darrell, everybody moved up and back through the field. What do you move when you're moving around in traffic? What do you learn?
Oh, it's kind of like dancing with the cars. You know, you find somebody that you can dance with. That's what you're really trying to do. Who can I get hooked up with that will get me up past that 99? So far up to him, but not past it.
Speaking of dancing around, I saw a lot of cars dancing around the last half of those 25 laps. And like Dale Earnhardt said, we've got to go a lot further this time. In fact, we've got a full fuel run, and there will be a pit stop, as I mentioned at the top of this race.
And if that comes under the green flag, it'll be your first one of the year.
Yes,
worried?
for the drivers that don't speed on pit road.
50 laps to go in the Budweiser Shootout of 2010. Carl Edwards, Tony Stewart bring them down to the line. Green flag. We're back to racing, and Kasey Kahne gives Carl Edwards a pretty good shove toward turn one.
I guess you could say that they're teammates. You know, they got a lot in common now. Both Fords. They got Roush Yates power, and that 99 just will not relinquish the lead to anybody.
And I say we'll see about the same thing at the beginning of this segment as we saw at the start of the race, especially when everybody has fresh tires and the cars are handling. Carl will probably stay right on that yellow line. He'll hug the inside.
Carl Edwards with the lead. Jamie McMurray trying now on the outside with help from Brian Vickers.
Brian Vickers in that 83 car has been a great pusher. He's not been able to push himself to the front, but he's been doing a great job of pushing other cars up through there.
Krista?
Jamie McMurray, what he said during that break, he came in, he said, don't mess with it much. It's a little loose on the bottom, but it's fast. Whatever you do, don't change it.
She's a little loose, all right, then. Loose is normally fast if you can hang on to it. He's trying to figure out a way to get by Carl. He may have just weaseled his way in there. He did.
And he's going to get some help from that 9 car, Kasey Kahne. Kasey will not move up off the bottom.
Ooh, McMurray is waltzing right now. Look at him.
He's got his hands full.
Well, he said he was loose on the bottom, and there he was on the bottom. But he's, I'll tell you, he is wheeling that car tonight.
Edwards leads the lap, though.
Not for long.
McMurray and Kahne on the inside.
Whoop, coming back.
Dick?
Kasey Kahne has really said nothing about the behavior of his race car other than to me during the break, and he said that the car was very good. That should be pretty obvious. He has come from the back, run up front all night long. Never won here at Daytona, but tonight he's got a great shot of it. Now he's in the middle.
Yeah, he got stuck in the sucker hole as Stewart and Harvick moved to the bottom, the 14 and 29, and McMurray dropped to the bottom to pick them up.
He saw him coming. He said, I'm going to get the push from you.
Matt?
Mike, during the break, Kevin Harvick said his car was great the first 15 laps, and then all of a sudden it started to go crazy loose, and it just kept getting looser. During the break, they found that he had a cut right rear tire. The only other adjustment he wanted, an old pair of gloves. He started out the race with a new pair, and it started cramping his hands. So he had his coach driver run back and get an old pair of gloves, and he's good to go. He says, if I can get this car to the front, we should be gone. It's a rocket ship.
I don't reckon I've ever heard of that.
Here comes McMurray, hook, line, and sinker to the lead.
You know, I said it was going to be dancing with the cars. This is dancing with the wolves. These guys are hungry, man. They want to go. 2 car just went around the 11. I mean, squeezed between him and the wall. That was a big move. Wouldn't surprise me to see that 2 car of Kurt Busch get up there, because he's a really good restrictor plate racer. Got good results on a restrictor plate track.
Good job, man. You're clear.
McMurray spotter. I love this. All these laps to go and no clear favorite, no clear leader. Yeah.
Yeah, we got 23 cars running under 2 seconds from each other. But McMurray's having to do the same thing that Carl Edwards did in the first segment. He's having to try to figure out which lane's moving. He's going back and forth from the top to the bottom.
Well, he's getting, actually, when you're out front like that and you got 2 cars lined up behind you, you're actually getting a push from both those cars. It makes it very difficult for somebody to get around you, as we saw with Carl Edwards. There he goes. He kind of slides up there, breaks Carl's momentum, and here comes Carl back.
I believe they're going to trap him in the middle now.
Whoa, I don't like the looks of this. That's tight off that corner.
McMurray didn't make the cut to the bottom soon enough, and Tony Stewart forged to the front with an assist from Kevin Harvick. Now he surrenders back to Edwards.
Look at that side draft that Carl Edwards in that 99 got. Shot to the outside and catapults, but here comes Brian Vickers in that 83 car. He's going to try the same technique.
These cars are really, really getting into 3 at a high speed. Probably close to 200 mile an hour would be my guess.
Now we've only run 5 laps since they dropped the green flag for the second time tonight. What will these cars be handling like 25 laps from now?
Not good. I mean, that's what separates the cars. Who can hold it wide open the longest? How many laps can you run holding it wide open? If you had a trace on it, the guys that can hold it wide open longer, the trace would be longer. That's the guys that just run off and leave everybody in the end.
Dick, how about Brian Vickers?
Well, as we got closer to that 25-lap break, Mike, Brian Vickers was on the radio telling his crew that the tires had gone away and the handling had gone with them. So we'll keep an eye on that number 83 and see how he does as we get closer to 25.
Yeah, that's kind of the magic number, Doc. I mean, you know, somewhere around 15 to 25. Oh, got a car.
Kurt Busch.
Holy cow.
Got tipped, slides to the grass. Caution is out.
Hang on, hang on, hang on.
He's in the fence.
Sloopy.
5, clip this, guys.
Thursday night in practice, Juan Montoya tipped Busch into the outside fence, a very, very hard hit. And tonight he does the 2,500-foot slide for life and gets into the barrier at a much slower speed.
Let's see what happens here.
Left side of your screen.
He was squeezing up that outside. Ooh, he just. Mark was in the middle. I mean, wasn't it? Mark, where's Mark going to go? He can't go up, he can't go down. He was sort of in the middle. That was kind of strangers in the night there.
And with the hood up over his windshield, Kurt Busch couldn't see where he was going. Tried to scrub as much speed off as he could.
Yeah.
Kurt is out of the car. He's okay, but look at this wild ride.
Second car that Kurt has crashed in a very similar situation.
Caution out as Kurt Busch finds his way into the barrier for the second time this week.
I think Mark was trying to squeeze in behind him.
The Budweiser Shootout on Fox is sponsored by Budweiser, the beer that starts with full flavor and ends with a crisp, clean finish. Budweiser, it's what we do. 34 laps are complete. We're under the second caution flag of the night, the first of segment 2 of the Budweiser Shootout. Carl Edwards has led most of the way from Tony Stewart, Kevin Harvick, Brian Vickers, and Jimmy Johnson. The first caution was for Michael Waltrip, spin off turn 2. This one for Kurt Busch, being tipped by Mark Martin, sliding through the grass, and finally into the safer barrier toward the exit of pit road.
I tell you what this caution does. Now, pit road has been closed for the last couple of caution laps because of the cleanup going on, but what this will do when they do open pit road, let's take a look at this first, and then we'll talk about this caution.
Yeah, what you're going to see is the 2 cars out here, and here's Mark Martin right here in the 5. And if you watch, Mark starts, I think Mark thought he could get in this little gap right here, and he just timed it wrong. It wasn't quite enough room, and he clipped Kurt on the left rear there and shot Kurt down into the grass. Watch this splitter. It'll dig in, and watch it when it does. The hood blows off the car. All that grass came up underneath the car and up through the hood, and then he can't even see where he's going now, let alone try to stop it or drive it.
Boy, that was so close with his brother Kyle Busch in that 18 car. He shot right across in front of him. Now, pit road is open this time. I think we will see everybody come to pit road because this puts them in a window of being able to make it to the end.
He's got it all locked down, so that's still a pretty good impact.
Yeah, but I'm glad they got the safer barrier right there. That's
and
good
here
deal.
they come. It's feeding time.
Dick Berggren.
Brian Vickers pits out at the 4th position. He is going to take 4 tires and make no adjustments to the race car at all. They get another yellow, he'll pit again. Matt.
And the chassis adjustment already completed on Stewart's car. He said the condition was the same as last time, but they weren't sure if it was the shark fin that came off that caused the downforce issues. Krista.
The focal point for Carl Edwards this year, pit stops, 2 new tire changers, a new jackman on this team. This is their first test. Carl Edwards a little free.
Michael Waltrip chose not to pit and stayed on track.
TV time.
Looks like everyone else came in. Second caution of the night. 40 laps to go in this year's Budweiser Shootout on Fox.